ask, I often question the will of God. Sometimes it's about my life. Sometimes it's about other things that's going on, and I wonder why. What about the will of God? And I often stand back and I think, man, I don't get. This can't be God's will. This can't be God's plan. And so I just began to sit down and write down some questions that I personally have had about the will of God. How many of you ever had questions about God's will? Amen? You too? Not just me? Awesome. I just making sure it wasn't just me. So I wrote down some questions, and let's see, 5 of them I think it is. In the book of Romans, it says in chapter 12, verse 2, and if you have your notebooks that we've been taking notes in, you can use those. If you don't have one, we do have some. It says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. How many would like to get to the place where we can prove that good and acceptable and perfect will of God? I think we all want to be there. I just got a thumbs up, so I'm okay with that. Hey, we need and want to prove that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And we all want to stand up and say, hey, that's me. I want to be right in the middle of God's perfect will. But often I find myself more over here like, oh man, I missed it again. This is the perfect will. Sweet. Oh, I passed it again. So many times we step outside of God's perfect will. And we feel like we've lost it and destroyed it all. So here we go. Let's go. Verse 1. I'm going to say the first question I asked. You may not understand God's plan. How many will agree with that? I don't always understand God's plan. And I thought, God, I don't understand why you're doing this. I don't understand how you can let this happen. I don't understand why I don't even understand it. Wow, that's deep. How many you don't even understand how you can't even understand why God did. I'm your child. I should be able to see, hey, you got bigger plans for me in this. You got a bigger reason behind this. But yet, my little mind thinks, I don't get it. I don't understand. Right? So here's the verse I want us to go on. Isaiah 55. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. His ways are higher than my ways, and his thoughts are higher than my thoughts. I don't understand it. Because his thoughts are higher than mine. So here's what I want you to understand. Okay? You may not understand God's plan, but God will give you understanding. How many believe that? I begin to think about Joshua. God told Joshua, Joshua, I want you to take that city. It's going to be your city. And Joshua said, yes. How am I going to get it? And God said, I want you to march down to that city. And Joshua, who's a warrior. Remember, Joshua was a warrior. Unlike Moses, he was a warrior. And he was like, yeah, I'm ready. I got my army. We're going to go down. And God said, I want you to march down to the city. Joshua's like, yeah. Get my army. Yeah, God said, yeah, get your army. Get your priests. Get them all lined up. God said, Joshua's like, you got it. So get them all lined up. And God said, now I want you to march down to the city. Joshua's like, all right, we're going. We're marching. We're moving. He goes, when you get to the city, I want you to be completely quiet. Okay. I want you to have your priests play the shofars, the ram's horn, play the song. He said, okay. And I want you to march around the city, one complete turn, and come back to the camp. Joshua's like, well, I don't understand your plan. I thought you was giving me the city. God's like, I am. Doing a parade around the city of Jericho is not going to deliver it unto my hands. And God said, oh, just you wait and see. Remember, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways. Joshua's like, okay. So they go down, they march around the city, and they return. And keep in mind, everybody who's following Joshua is probably thinking he has lost his mind. What in Did he get intimidated? Did he back out? Did he chicken out? Probably so. What a coward we serve. Our leader is worthless. We have chosen a pastor who chickened out when he saw how massive the wall truly is. So they return back to the camp. God tells Joshua, hey, I want you to do this again. I want you to do this for 6 days. Joshua's like, you're crazy. I do not understand. 6 days of this marching around the city? So they march down to the city, and they're marching around the walls of Jericho, and the people inside of Jericho are looking out, and they're seeing a parade. They're like, oh, look how cute. The Israelites are putting on a parade for us. Throw some candy over here. Not that junk, I want that good stuff, the bubble gum. Throw that up here. Throw me some candy. Yeah. Right, they're enjoying it. Day 1. Day 2. The people of Jericho are coming to the walls and the windows, and they're watching. Here they are again, playing the same song, in the same order, doing the same thing. Day 3. They're like, oh, there they are again, playing the same song, doing the same thing. Right? Day 4. They're probably not even paying attention to them anymore. It's just noise in the background. Day 5. Day 6. They didn't realize the children of Israel are even doing it any longer. See, what happens is the church becomes so traditional or such a habit that we are no effect unto the world because we do the same thing. We preach the same old sermon and sing the same old songs and do the same old style and the same old thing year after year after year. I can remember when I was a kid, I would hear preachers say, you know, the Lord's getting ready to come. He's getting ready to come at this very moment. He can sound the trumpet and you're going to go. Listen, my grandparents heard that sermon. My parents heard that sermon. When I was a kid, I heard that sermon. I'm now preaching that sermon and the world is thinking, he ain't ever going to come. But you know what? He's getting ready to. Now we don't know when. I've got 4 kids. Maybe they'll have grandkids before the Lord comes. I don't see them getting out of high school before the Lord comes, but we'll see. Right? Because I know we're in the end times. And if we're not careful, we start to be so bland to the world that we're just background noise. In the church, we can't afford to be background noise any longer. We can't afford not to sound the alarm for people, loved ones, and our friends, and people that we care about. Say, hey, listen, time's running short. You've got to get things in order. I'm not saying push them away. I'm not saying hound them, but they need to know the truth. It's the truth that will set them free. Amen? So now Joshua gets back to the camp. They're on day 6. He goes, okay, we've done 6 days. Now what? God says, now on the 7th day, I want you to march around the city 6 times. Joshua's like, ugh. I don't understand this. 6 times? He says, yes, go around the city 6 times, but on the 7th time, I want you to shout with a great shout. And I want the trumpets to play to blast. And I will give the city to you. So day 7 happens, and they march down to Jericho. And they march around the city 1 time. Then they begin their 2nd trip. And I would say somewhere about on their 3rd trip, the people of Jericho is like, hey, wait, something's different. They're playing it different. It's different. This is the 2nd or 3rd time around. Oh, this is the 4th time. What are they doing? The 5th time, people's gathering around. The 6th time, around. And finally, when they get ready to mark the 7th step, Joshua says, now, children of God, I want you to shout with a great shout, and the wall, God will give us the city. And so they begin to march around that 7th time, and the trumpets are blasting, and the people are shouting, hallelujah! And they're shouting and they're praising, and the walls begin to tremble, and the walls fell down flat, and Israel went in, devoured, destroyed, conquered, and received what God has promised them. And the whole time Joshua was thinking, wow, I didn't even understand what God had in store. But yet, God will give you understanding. It may not be beforehand. It may be through the battle. It may be when you come out the other side, you're like, wow, I see it now. But isn't it more important to understand God's will on his side than find out his plan on the other end of it. Like, oh, if only I had stepped through it. So the first thing is, yes, we may not understand God's plan, but he will give us understanding if we stick to his plan. Amen? Number two, the second thing I want us to understand, we may not agree with God's plan. How many can give me an amen on that? We may not always agree with him. Go. In John 16:33 it says, these things I have spoken to you, that in me you might have peace. In this world you shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. Do you remember the story with Naaman, was a leper? And he went to the prophet, and the prophet told him, I want you to go wash in the Jordan River 7 times, 7 dips into the dirty river of Jordan. And Naaman was furious. He said, no! That is filthy water. I'm going back home to my own city where we have clean water. Now I would dip in our pure, clean water. And the servant that was with me was like, whoa, time out. That's not what God said. Didn't God tell you to dip into Jordan 7 times? Naaman's like, no, I don't agree. I do not agree with this plan. No, that is nasty. How many times have God told us to do something and we're like, I don't agree with that at all. There's no way you would ask me to do that. Go up and give that guy $100. Are you kidding me? I need that $100. That's my last $100. Go up and tell that person I love them. I don't even know that person. They're just in line like I'm in line at the grocery store. Why would I walk over? Hey, just want to let you know God loves you. Get away from me, okay? Right? How about this one? There's that person, oh no, I hope they don't see you. God's like, no, they don't see you. You're like, woo! But I want you to go over there and tell them that you love them. I don't agree with this. No way, God, I do not agree with this plan whatsoever. But see, God will give you peace when you're in his will. Right? A peace that surpasses all understanding. Right? The verse we just read, he said, be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So Naaman is not in agreement with this. What do you think would have happened? Let's just use our imagination for a moment. What do you think would have happened if he went back to his home and got into his clean water and dipped in it 7 times? Nothing would have happened except he would have got wet. Right? And I'll tell you what, I think there's a lot of church people and a lot of churches who are just wet churches. They're not in God's plan because they don't agree with it. People walk in the door, and it's people that, hey, I don't want to associate myself with those people. They look a certain way, they dress a certain way, they act a certain way, they live a certain way. They're different than us. You know what? No, I don't agree with that. And you know what? Those churches are wet. And you know how hard it is to start a fire with something that's wet? Right? It gets got wet. There's a lot of wet churches. There's a lot of wet Christians out there trying to be a witness for God, but there is no fire. God keeps sparking them, and they're just like, no, I don't agree with it. Finally, one of them, I can hear his right hand man say, Naaman, listen, what's it going to hurt? We're here, we're passing the Jordan, let's just get into it to see what happens. So Naaman's like, fine. And he gets to the water, and he looks at it, and he's looking at how nasty that water is. Have you ever been in a place where you looked at it in the water, and you're like, that is His grace. Hey, let's go swimming. Okay. And that, no, thank you. I do not think I want to get in that. I was at a church doing revival one time. We had several people saved throughout that week. I don't remember the numbers. I don't want to exaggerate. And we had several people saved that week, and they decided they were going to do water baptism that week. And one of the people had some property with a pond in it, and they decided they were going to use that pond because the baptismal wasn't ready yet. And so we go to this guy's pond on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to baptize all these people. So I'm getting ready to get into this pond, and I look at this pond, and there's things jumping in the pond. And I'm like, oh, there's live critters in that pond. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, I don't want to get in that water. And the people's gathering around, and the pastor says, now listen, brother, since you led them to the Lord, I'm going to let you baptize all of them. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. And he said, and I didn't bring anything to get into the water with, so I'm just going to let you go out on your own. And I'm like, oh, how kind of you, sir. So I kick off my shoes, and I walk out to that water. I'm like, this is totally disgusting. And anyone who knows me, I'm a bit of a germaphobe, that was kind of more like, oh, I won't get you, buddy. And I wade out into that water, and I get out of that waist deep, and the first person comes out to me, and I'm just standing there, oh, I can feel it. I mean, it was just clinging to me. And it was just like a magnet. All the germs and algae and everything coming and just clinging to me. But the first person came out, and I looked out, and I said, this is gross. And they're like, yes, it is. And they stood there next to me, and I started to talk to them about their faith and how they come to know Christ. And you know what? I totally forgot about everything in that pond. And we baptized all those people, and that thought was not in my mind again until I was getting out of it. And I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Naaman was getting down in that nasty, filthy water, still not agreeing with it. And I can see Naaman. I'm going to use my imagination just for a moment. And he dipped himself down into that water, and it come up completely. And he's like, oh, is the leprosy gone? And his servant's like, no. He's like, I'm done. He said, no. He said 7 times. And so Naaman goes down the 2nd time, and it comes up. And they're like, no. He goes down the 3rd time, and the 4th time, and the 5th time, and he comes out. No. He says, is it start to fade? He says, no. Anything healing up? He says, no. He goes down the 6th time, and it comes up. How is it? They're like, no. He says, I'm done. I don't agree with this whatsoever. And they stop and say, well, he said 7 times. Listen, when God gives you a word, a plan, you may not understand it. You may not agree with it, but you have to fulfill it. Because if God says 7, 6 won't do. Right? So he said 7 times. So Naaman stood there, and he went under that 7th time. And Scripture said that when he came up, his skin was new. No more leprosy, no more sores, no more disease. He was cleansed. He was made true because he was obedient to God's word. You may not agree with God's plan, but if you learn to accept God's plan, He will give you peace about it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's an enemy. Remember, I told you you have 2 adversaries. There's the enemy and the enemy. Right? The enemy and the enemy are going to be struggling against you at all times, trying to make you feel back to here again. God will give you peace with it, and the enemy is going to be like, no. This ain't fair. There's no place in the Scripture where I see that God's fair, He's just. Let that sink in just a moment. There's a few more of us that need to sink a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? God is not a fair God, He's a just God. And so here's the thing. There's times we're like, oh man, God, this ain't fair. I don't agree with this. And the enemy's like, yeah, tell him. They'll get away with it. Tell him. Hey, I don't like this. And God's like, no, I'll take care of that. Just know, and He'll give you peace. But then the enemy starts thinking about it. Well, wait a minute. Maybe he was right. So now the enemy is inside of me fighting me. The enemy's fighting me, and God's trying to give you peace. And the whole time we have peace, we're warring against our own God-given peace. I've been there. God was like, okay, be at peace with it. Okay. And then I'm like, but I want this. And God's like, I know, but I have something greater. And I'm like, but I want this. But I have this. And then God said, I have great things. And we're like, I know, but I want this. And the enemy is saying, I want this. And the enemy's telling me this is good. God's like, please, I'll give you peace about this. And sometimes we still go to, I don't agree. I don't understand. I don't agree. I'm moving on. Amen? Unfortunately. Here we go. You may not have the resources to support God's plan. How many times has God given you a word or a command, right? He's given you guidance, and you're like, I can't afford that, right? It says in, let's go, there we go, Matthew 19. But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So, you may not have the resources to support God's plan, but God will give you what? Provision. So I want you to understand that when God told Moses, hey, I want you to lead the children of Israel out of bondage, out of Egypt. I'm going to set you free. I'm going to give you the fields and the land, and I'm going to give you all this. And Moses was like, okay. So they go all their way, and Moses was thinking, wait a minute, hold on, time out. Stop. How am I going to feed these people? I got 1 million people following me. How am I going to feed them? How am I going to clothe them? I don't even know where I'm going. I don't have GPS. My map has not loaded yet. I don't know. Right? So God had to take him to the mound and let him download on a tablet from the cloud to kind of get an idea of what's going on, right? We got the 10 Commandments done there. That was a little side joke. Thank you. So Moses is trying to figure out, but we know by Scripture that their clothes never got too small. I want to find out where they got those clothes. Man, his clothes never got too small. I have clothes in my closet that I had when I was younger that I love, and they're coming back in style. The problem is, they don't fit. You ever done that? You ever cheat something and it's like, come back in style, and you're like, yeah, I can wear that again. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. So here's the thing. Their clothes never wore out. Their shoes never wore out. And I've got some shoes. I got a pair of Chucks. I love these Chucks. They are wore completely out. They're barely held together with threads, but you know what? If I was traveling with Moses, they would have never worn out. And they began to eat manna from heaven. He provided them food. It was manna. It was like a white cracker that fell from the heavens. And they said, what do we call it? They said, what is it? He said, that's what we'll call it. Manna. What is it? That's what it means. Manna means what is it? So what is manna? It's what they needed. If it was low in protein, it was protein. If it was low in iron, it was iron. Whatever they needed is what it was. God provided for them. See, God is the manna from heaven for us. And He's whatever He needs us to be. He will be our provision. Whatever we need. If we need understanding, if we need peace, whatever it may be, that's what He will be. He'll be your provision. We need to understand God shall always provide. God will always provide. I'm going to tell you the story from the other side of the division, because a lot of times we're in the middle of it and we don't understand it. But there's this woman who did not have, her husband had just passed away. She was losing her job because her vehicle was broke down. Her husband was trying to fix it. He passed away unexpectedly. The vehicle is tore apart. She can't afford to get it fixed. Her job call says, listen, we're not trying to be rude. We understand you lost your husband. But unfortunately, we can't hold your spot. So, if you can't make it to work, we understand. We're about to terminate. She calls the church and is asking for prayer. It says, listen, I don't know what else to do. Will you please pray? Never met this woman in my life. And I said, we'll definitely pray. So I prayed with her on the phone. We got off the phone. 20, 30 minutes later, I get a phone call. Is this the pastor of the church? Yes, it is. Would you be able to meet me at the Kroger's here in town? And I was like, well, I suppose I can. Well, what's going on? They said, we have a Ford Tempo that we have to sell. And God told us to give it to you at that church. They said, we're not sure why, but God told us to give you the Tempo, so it's yours. You have to come pick it up. Okay. So we made arrangements. We got the car picked up. Well, I called the lady. I said, I'm going to back up. I didn't pick it up. I was going to go pick it up. And I called that lady back. I said, listen, are you able to get a ride to Kroger's? She She said, I suppose, yeah. When do you need me there? I said, at this certain time. She said, yeah, I can get there. Why? I said, there's a person with a Ford Tempo. They're going to put it in your name. It's yours. I never saw the car. Never touched the car. Never drove the car. I tell them, I own the Ford Tempo. What do you think of it? I don't know. Never drove it. It was given to me. Well, see what the thing was? God wasn't giving it to me. He was giving it through me. See, God knows that you can be a conductor. If He will get it through you, He will get it to you. So you can be a blessing unto others. And that was the thing. He knew He could get it through you. He was making provision for this woman through us. Right? Made provision. And that's the thing, is it may not necessarily have anything to do with you. But in God's plan, you may think, I can't afford this. And God will always make provision. He will make a way, you ever heard the saying, where there seems to be no way. If we just stand back and say, God, I don't understand, I may not agree with it, I can't afford it. God, I can't afford your plan. God's like, I know. That's why I'm not asking you to pay for it. See, if it's God's will, it's God's will. Let Him handle it. Let Him drive it. Let Him take care of it. Just be obedient is all He's asking us to be obedient. The next point, are you ready? He says this. You may not know how to fulfill God's plan. How many have ever been there? I don't know how to fulfill this. I don't know how to do this. Psalm 32:8 says, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eyes. You may not know how to fulfill God's plan, but God will give you direction. Think about this. Here's Noah on the earth. It's never rained, never needed rain. God says, Noah, I want you to build an ark. I want you to build this massive boat. I want you to take the animals, I want you to put it on the ark. I want you to take your family, I want you to put it on this ark, and I want you to be safe. And Noah's like, okay. What? I don't know if I understand what you're talking about. I don't know if I even agree with this. I'm pretty sure I can't afford it. I mean, what are you talking about? I'm too old. And let's just be real here. I don't even know what an ark is. What is a boat? We've never needed one. Right? Yeah. We don't have a clue. What we're building. How to build it. There is no how to build an ark for dummies manual out there, right? You can't Google it. You can't go on YouTube. How to build an ark. Walt and I was working on our projector screen. Our projector had went out. We were trying to figure out how to work on it. And I couldn't get the lens completely out. We was trying to take it apart. There's no screw to take the lens out. I just YouTubed how to remove a lens from this projector. And just YouTube, step by step, show you what screws to take loose and how to take it apart. Walt and I both stood there and was like, well, that was easy. That was easy, you know? So here's the thing. There was none of that available. How many remember Ask Jeeves? Remember that back in the day? Ask Jeeves? None of that's available. Google wasn't available. Siri's not available. Alexa, is that what it is? Isn't that other one now? Alexa is not available. Alexa's not my house. We have Siri at my house. So, only one woman at a time, I guess. And so, I don't know how to use any of that. So, God says, I want to direct you how to build this. I want you to build it from this type of wood. I want you to build it to this measurement. I want you to build it this way. I want you to use this type of plaster on it. God gave him all the direction. And so Noah is following God's plan. But here's one thing I want you to keep in mind. The whole time you're doing God's will and fulfilling God's will, there will always be those out there trying to discourage you from it. There were people mocking him. Noah, you're too old for this. Noah, you're crazy. Noah, are you drunk again? Noah, what is wrong with you? You can't be in your right mind. Some of them, even his own family. Dad, come on. Really? From within, they're saying, Dad, I'll help you, but come on. We've been been working on this forever. It's been like a week. He said, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. A week? Huh. You're going to be old by the time we get this thing done. And they're working on this massive ark. They don't know anything about it. Listen, God's going to ask you to do some things you won't know how to do. Right? I want you to love that person. I don't know how to love that person like that. I've never been there. I want you to separate yourself from these people. I don't know how to separate myself from them. They're all I know. I want you to quit this job, and I want you to accept that job. God, I don't understand why. I'm comfortable with this job. Why do you want me to go there? I want you to start this. I want you to end that. I want you to do this. I want you to go there. God, I don't understand it. I don't know it. What do I do? There's this person that was at their church. They were very comfortable at their church. They loved their church. They had been on staff at this church, and God told him in the middle of the night one night in a dream that he was moving to another country. He woke up, covered in sweat, heart beating. Oh, it was just a dream. He got up and went to the kitchen and got him a glass of water, got him a drink, went and sat down in the living room. He's like, whew, God, I'm glad that was just a dream. He went back to bed. The next morning, his wife says, honey, we need to talk. He said, sure, what do you want to talk about? She said, well, God gave me a dream last night that we're moving to another country. What do you mean? She began to say in detail what God showed her. He said it was exactly what God was showing him. She said, I woke up in the middle of the night and was having a panic attack. She said, I got up and had to come down to the kitchen, get something to drink, go back to bed. And she was sleeping, sound, no problem. He said, I had the same thing. And when I come back to bed, Jesus said, so I don't know, they don't know which one was up first, who got it first, but he said, we went to our pastor. He said, Pastor, we got this crazy thing we need to talk to you about. We know this isn't God, but how do we handle this? And that's like, ironically, you say this. We got a phone call from a missionary over there. They're looking for some help. What do you think about? And he was talking to him about it. They said, well, I mean, we don't think this is God. We don't understand how we do this. We have everything over here. I don't even know how to get over there. I don't know those people. I don't know anything about their culture. So they brought the missionaries to America to visit this family, but this family wasn't going to the other country. I don't remember which nation it was, I'm sorry. And so they sat down and they talked to these missionaries. They prayed with these missionaries. And they both felt like this is what God wanted them to do, but they said, we don't understand how to do this. We don't know the step to take. We don't know what to say, what to do, how to get there. So they just kept praying and praying and praying. So they decided, okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll just go for a couple months and come back. So they was making arrangements for things to be taken care of while they was gone. And someone approached him and said, hey, are you guys moving? They said, just temporarily. He said, oh, okay, we heard the house might be for sale. He said, no, it's not. We're just temporarily moving in. They said, well, we wanted to buy it. We was willing to pay this much. That was more than the house was worth. And their family was like, okay, let's sell it. We can buy another house when we get back. So they decided to sell it. And so they was getting all this stuff out. They was taking it to a storage unit and put it out. They heard about this family who was in need and had a house fire and lost everything. They thought, well, we're only need it for a few months. We could use the money that we got for the house to get a house, to get some new furniture, to start over. Oh, I've been wanting to do that, she said. I've been wanting to get new furniture. So they donated all their stuff to this family who lost about everything. They made all these arrangements. They flew over to that country. And when they was there, God was just making connections with them, with other people. And they realized we're right where God wants us to be. They said it was the hardest decision of our life, but at the same time it was the smoothest. Because every time that we walked through that door that was open, God closed it behind us and we knew we were supposed to be. Remember when Noah got his family on the ark? God closed the door so they wouldn't open it up to other plans. I wish God would do that for us sometimes. I wish God would open up the door and say, walk through it, and then close it behind us and say, there ain't no getting back on, or getting back out. No matter how No matter how hard. But that's not how it works all the time. We have to have faith. But God will give us direction. If we just accept it and follow, He will give us perfect direction. But we can't say, God is not speaking to me about it, when our Bibles look like this. Closed. How are you going to hear God if you're not listening to His Word? How are you going to hear what God's saying if you haven't connected to Him? Right? You don't call someone up, ask them a question, and hang up, wait for the answer. I don't know when they're going to call me back. I did that one time. I called somebody, asked them a question, and they would say, let me think about that for a moment. And they would think about that, and then to me, and said, what was talking? I thought of something they was telling me about. Oh, that was great. We got done talking. I hung up. I'm like, oh, you never did tell me what you want to do about. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it was like, oh, listen, we got to get you God's word. We're never going to know if we're constantly going, okay, God, what do you want me to do? I tell you what, I'm going to do it my way until you tell me. God's going to look, that's not how it works. Get into it. I will tell you now. I've already written it out for you. I gave you the blueprints. It's right here. Just get involved in it. Open it up. Understand my plan. Do what I'm calling you to do. I will give you direction. I will show you. Go back to the verse before. It says, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way in which ye shall go. I will guide thee with my eye. It's in my word. I will help you. Go on. I will help you know how to fulfill my plan. I will give you direction. Amen? Amen. Preach. I know. Thank you. Last one. You must not abandon God's plan. Here's the problem. We may not like it, agree with it, understand it, think we financially can support it, we can afford it, right? Maybe we don't know how, so we start to abandon it. Well, this looks like this is close to God's plan. I'd rather do this, right? I'd rather be a part of this than be here. It's similar to God's plan. It seems to be working. And God's like, I know it's working because I'm blessing those people you're with, but I want you here. But what happens is we abandon His plan because we like the comfortability or the surroundings or the not have to move out of our comfort zone, right? So it says this way. Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. If we don't quit. You must not abandon God's plan. God will give you strength. God will encourage you, strengthen you, guide you, empower you, appoint you, and anoint you for what He has in store for you. I said it last week. He will give you the unction to function if you allow Him to take you there. But so many times we abandon it. It's harder than we thought. How many ever got a puppy, or know someone who's done this? You get a puppy, and it's all so cute, and it's cuddly, and it's fun, and it's loving on you, and then it makes a mess. Or it chews something up. Right? And then it gets bigger, and still making messes, and still chewing things up, and except for the messes are bigger and just destroying things now. And he's eating a lot more. And now he's not as fun. And he's not as cute. And so now what do? They take it out and they abandon it. And then you look out down the road and you see a cute little puppy on the side of the road. You're like, oh, it's so cute. Right? If you want to take it home, there you go. People abandon God's plans to say, man, it sounds great. It looks great. God so many great idea. And you get involved in it. And you begin to realize, oh, it comes with attacks. It comes with, turmoil, and tribulation, and all this stuff is going on. And the enemy's fighting me, and the enemy is fighting me. I don't like all this. So I'm just going to put God's will down here, and I'm going to go back over here and find something else to get involved in. Don't abandon God's plan. He will help you endure in due season. He will help you fight that fight. He's not going to send you to Jericho and say, it's on you. He's not going to send you to the ark and say, okay, it's on you. Right? He's going to see to it that provision is there. He's going to see to it that you know how. He's going to see to it that the battle's not yours. He's going to see to it that if there's a stone that has to hit a giant, that you have learned enough how to sling it. But the moment it releases your sling, God will say, I'll take it from you. And I will put it where it needs to go, with the impact in which it needs to be hitting with. And I will see to it that he falls with a great fall. And victory is yours. See, the problem is we can't abandon God's plan. Too many times we have found ourselves have you ever been there? God's plan, my plan. God's plan, my plan. Right? What we don't realize is his plan will outweigh our plan. We just don't have all the information. How many have ever bought a house or a car or anything for that matter, and you didn't get all the information on this house or this car? It looks good, it sounds good, it's everything you want it to be, and you get home or you drive it home or whatever the case may be, and you realize, oh, there's more to it. I didn't know that the foundation was cracked. I didn't know that the head was cracked. I didn't know that this and that was wrong with it. I didn't know. Right? I didn't know all this stuff. But that's how it's going to be with your plan. It's how it's going to be with God's plan too. But here's the difference. Your plan, you have to figure it out. You have to provide it. You have to make it happen. God's plan, he'll provide. He went before you. He has people to help. He has finances before you. He has strength. He has power. You may not understand, but how many have ever seen a rubber band? And you understand the purpose of a rubber band, right? I don't have one to show you. But you understand the purpose of a rubber band. We got a rubber band? We got a rubber band. Okay, we got a bracelet rubber band. So you understand the purpose of a rubber band, right? It's to hold things together. If I have a stack of envelopes and I'm going to wrap the rubber band around it, in order for it to work, I have to, what? Stretch it. That rubber band has to stretch before it reaches its true purpose. As children of God, our faith will never reach its full purpose if we do not first become stretched, or stretch our faith to understand we must not abandon God's plan. Stick to it. He'll strengthen us through it. He'll help us endure through time. So help us to be strong. He'll help us to fight the good fight. Not to give up. Not to surrender. Amen? Would you stand with me this morning?